Tonight on More Than the Score, a University of Dubuque basketball coach saves his team from a possible tragedy on a Kentucky interstate. Is this just another example of an average Joe stepping up to be a hero? Or is Justin Smith Batman? The Cascade boys basketball team is off to another undefeated start this season. Is it a story of this team once again just having one of the great defenses in the state of Iowa? Or are the Cougars mastering hypnosis on their opponents? The Dubuque Hempstead basketball teams are both off to great starts this season. They both picked up big wins over Dubuque Senior last week. Are the Mustangs finally putting it together with great coaching and unprecedented talent? Or is there strange voodoo magic being used at the school? All this and more tonight on Unsolved Mysteries.
Steve, what are you saying? That's not the name of the show.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I kind of got caught up there. We still rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. All this and more tonight on More Than the Score. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Telegraph Herald More Than the Score. I'm your host Steve Ortman. Alongside me this week, Brenden West. Brenden, how's it going?
Good. Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. No messing around. We're going to get right to it. Tons of great action to cover over the course week or so here in sports. And the big story that broke, obviously, on New Year's Eve has made some national headlines. University of Dubuque women's basketball assistant coach Justin Smith, the former head coach at Dubuque Hempstead girls program, made quite a heroic action on New Year's Eve. Talk a little bit about that, Brenden.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a unique thing, but when the University of Dubuque Spartans girls team was heading back from their road trip in Nashville early New Year's Eve morning, their bus driver, their coach bus driver, suffered somewhat of a medical malady there, and wound up actually passing out behind the wheel on the highway, and the
going about 70.
Yeah, I mean, the bus was veering off the side, hit a guardrail rail, and all of a sudden, Justin Smith, the assistant, he was actually able to leap out of his seat, steer the bus to safety, slow it down, and everything. Nobody was hurt. From all reports that I've heard, even the driver who was rushed to the hospital, he wound up being okay too. So thank God. It's one of those scary situations, and it was a crisis averted. I was actually able to catch up with Justin after UD's game against crosstown rival Loris. That was their first game back after that incident, and here were a few things that he had to say.
I think, anytime that you have a situation like that, it puts you a little bit in life in perspective and what's important to you and what you're trying to do in your life. And we're just lucky that it turned out well. Everyone was safe and sound. Even the bus driver was safe and sound, and that's the most important part. I would never have ever thought, and I hope that it never happens again, something like this. The attention and everything. I mean, it's nice that I've really appreciated all the thoughts and prayers and praise that I've gotten. But the big thing, once again, I'm happy I'm here alive, along with my basketball family, which I care about a lot. And that's the big thing.
Has it been kind of nice to be able to get back and sort of focus on basketball? Coach Knoll said that this was really your first day to kind of do that, your first normal day. Yeah,
we're getting there. I mean, to be honest, I think that the first practice has been normal. And this game obviously felt really normal. It's been tough, I think, to get back in the flow with phone interviews and things like that I've had over the past couple days. But I think the kids, the players, I think it's been pretty good for them. A couple of them have said they're kind of getting sick of getting people asking them questions about it. But I think the nice thing is the situation they were in, they didn't exactly see the full thing being in the back part of the bus. And I think being the fact that they're able to come back and go right into a rivalry game, I think has helped us a lot as far as not really thinking too much about it.
I guess I want to say on a personal note, as a former college athlete, having been on those coach buses and everything, you can sort of relate a little bit to what that experience was like, just how scary some kind of situation like that is. You know, I mean, everybody wants to be okay in those instances, but every once in a while, you know, even the Loris girls were sort of relating to, like, man, what if that was my team? So I think the whole Dubuque community and maybe even outside of that is definitely very thankful that everything wound up being okay for the Spartans. And, you know, great job, Justin Smith, and, you know, best of luck to the Spartans as they continue on with their season.
Absolutely. Heroic actions that got national attention. New York Post, Associated Press, ESPN, all kind of websites have picked this one up. So a terrific story and a great job by Coach Smith. But moving forward now to the sports scene here, we're looking at, let's first start with the Cascade boys basketball team. I guess they're just going to be darn good again, huh, Brenden?
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, here they are once again off to a terrific start to the season. Last year they started off 13-0 before they dropped their first game of the season at the hands of rival Dyersville Beckman. This year they're off to an 11-0 start. They met up with Beckman again on Saturday at Cascade and were able to take care of business. Their leading scorer, Harris Hoffman, wasn't even on the court for most of the first half. Didn't score a single point, didn't even take a single shot. But he winds up coming back after dealing with some foul trouble in the second half. He comes back, winds up leading Cascade in scoring. They walk away handily with the win over Beckman. I caught up with Harris after the game, and we sort of talked about, you know, what he was waiting to do there in that second half.
After I got that third foul, I knew. Coach just came up to me, talked to me, said, if that ever happens, you just gotta let him have foul, or let him have the layup and not get your third foul because we need you. And I just took that. I was like, all right. And then he said, when you go out second half, play with 0 fouls. So that's what I did.
Yeah, you didn't pick up a single one. You know, a lot of guys on this team. I mean, you weren't the only one in double digits. There's a lot of different guys scoring. A lot of different guys that are versatile like yourself. I guess I'm wondering how do you guys sort of coach that up? You know, how have you guys been able to train up and be versatile three-point shooters, slashers, great defenders? How's that all work?
Well, coaches treat us all exactly the same. We all can shoot, we all can drive, we all can do everything. So when we run our offense, we know that at some point we will get an open shot just because of our cuts and all our passes and everything, our ball movement works so well that we're always open at one point in time.
All right, now, Brenden, we take a look in the city, the big senior Hempstead doubleheader at Nora Gym last Friday night. Mustangs pull off the sweep. In my game, the girls' game, Mustangs look fantastic, 71-44 over senior. They got to a 9-0 lead, got it up to 17-2 before the Rams could get anything going. It was the 9th win of the year already for the Mustangs. Morgan Krug led the way with 13 points, caught up with the senior forward after the game, and here's what she had to say about the big win.
Our philosophy as a team this year is to always play loose and play as a team and make sure that we play our game instead of like falling below if we're playing not as good a competition or falling under pressure if we're playing like a good team. But yeah, tonight I thought we played really well as a team. It was definitely a great team win. Everyone contributed. The bench was energized. It was a great team win tonight.
Sure. Talk about how this team can be resilient. You guys, senior makes that run, brings it to a 10-point game. You think, this could go either way, but then you guys came back with a 7-0 run right away.
Yeah, we never got down on ourselves. We were always picking each other back up. There's always someone that stepped up, made the move, and got everyone else energized. So it was great.
Now to close the third quarter, Madison Fleckenstein, your teammate, hit a half-court shot, just nailed it. Was anybody on that bench surprised that she hit that?
No, she knew that was in as soon as that came off her fingers. But yeah, that gave us a lot of energy to finish the fourth there.
Yeah, and end of the game, final few minutes, a lot of players deep on the bench, got some time in the game, scored some points. How exciting is that for the team?
It's amazing. We love when the bench gets in. We get the bench just gets so energized. We just love it when everyone gets their chance.
And Steve, as you mentioned, the Hempstead boys were able to complete the sweep. They actually took down number 3 Dubuque Senior, 59-50.
Huge win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huge.
And that actually bumped the Mustangs up from number 8 to number 7 in this week's Class 4A polls. So congratulations to him. Hempstead Senior, all the city teams are going to be in action this weekend actually for the annual Loris Wendy's All-American Trust Boys Basketball Classic over there at Lillis Court at the Loris campus. We got an awesome slate of games here. We got Mineral Point up on the Wisconsin side taking on Janesville at 1:15 p.m. Dubuque Hempstead going to take on the Chicago suburbs team Buffalo Grove. That's at 3 o'clock. Dubuque Wahlert is going to take on an interesting Iowa team, Oskaloosa. That game starts at 4:45, and then to wrap it all up, we have Dubuque Senior taking on another suburban team. That's Marian Catholic out of Chicago Heights. That game starts at 6:30. To start the whole event off, we have Blackhawk taking on Don Bosco Gilbertsville at 11:30 a.m. So I'm looking forward to that coverage. We'll definitely be there, and it should be another fun Wendy's Classic for us.
Absolutely. All the coverage in the print edition on Sunday, as well as at telegraphherald.com. That's going to do it for this week's edition of Telegraph Herald More Than the Score. I'm your host, Steve Ortman. For Brenden West, we'll see you next week.